So I'm now in the dining room, so I've got two separate videos on here. One's the front room fire, the Firefox. This is the HunterHerald 5 Slimline double door. So that's going to get installed into that opening. So I've just got it out of the box, just sort of having a look. I've removed the instruction manual earlier on to have a read of that. What else have we got on here? So we've got a blank plate and a collar. So you can either blank off the top and come out the back, or blank the back and come out the top. There's some gaskets that were in the envelope that had the instructions in, so I'll put that on. So on mine, the flue's going to come out the top, so I'll have my gasket, my flue coming out the top. So that's nice and straightforward. There's then like a throat plate in there and the Burnham griddle. I'm not sure if you can get that out. Right, so I've got the throat plate out. And this is like the griddle. What I'll do is I'm going to strip it all out, put it in, and then put it all back in at the end. Make it a bit lighter, get it move about. That sort of control from there to sort of shape the ashes. There's also the ash pan. Yeah, you can get a tool for sort of ash pan, so get the ash pan on that side and sort of shape the griddle with the other side. I'll do a demonstration of it when it's all put in. And that's all the bits really. Quite a nice looking fire. I've got some brass knobs for it as well. So anyway, so for now I'm going to put the blank in the back with the gasket and all that when I find it. I've got the parts here for that. I'll put the collar on the top sort of roughly, like that. Sort of get the enamel flue pipe, put that to side. Then once I'm happy with that, we'll sort of get it squared in. Hopefully. The hearth, I don't know if you can see the hearth in the video too much, but the hearth, it is going to come out another block, which is another 300, but we're sort of still in the process of decorating everywhere, so if I can avoid it for now, I'm not going to put that extra lot of slabs on until we sort of come to particularly decorate this room. I was hoping to avoid it in the lounge, but I found with the lounge, the feet were right on the edge and I wasn't happy with it, so I've had to rethink that. But with this one, hopefully we'll get away with it. Slimline version of the fire, but we'll see how it goes. Right, so I'm just putting the blanking plate on the back. It comes with these dowels, so just screwing them in. Then got a gasket, like a fiberglass type gasket. Going over and going through the holes like that. If you were blanking off the top, obviously you could blank off the top. And it's as simple as that. Then got the washers and nuts that I'm putting on the inside. Don't know if I can do that. Probably easier doing it through the door. So I've got the fire sort of in place there. It's literally just stood on. It's levelled up roughly, although you know it'll need tweaking in a minute. So what I've done is I've gone for sort of the best visual effect, to be totally honest, which is sort of on these mortar lines here. We've got like a distance there of 230 mil. and that's like 230.3mm. So it's slightly off centre, but 3mm, and it's on the mortar line, so it just physically looks a lot better. You need a minimum clearance of 50mm at the back if it's a non-combustible material. We've got more than that, we've got about 60 or 70mm at the back, so there's no issues there. Now, it's a little bit of sort of giving this registered flare. What I've done is I've gone from like the centre bolt there to the centre of the flue. I've dropped my plumb line down, and I can see that's exactly on plumb there from this front edge. So if it, you know, might need moving forward or back ever so slightly, but I know it's sort of centred up, so we can get that. So I'm pleased with that. So what I'm going to do now is put the flue pipe on, or sort of work out how much I need to put the flue pipe, and we'll go from there. Right, so I've had the fire in and out, I've cut the flue pipe down to size. What I'm going to do now is put a bit of fire cement in for sort of the final connections. So I'm going to put my hands inside the pipe, the sort of where the flexible flue line is coming down, and just the inside edge where the adapter's screwed onto. I'm just going to screw that in and cement it in. So I've got a bit of the cement. I'm just pushing it in as I go along, and I feel like making a nice clean connection. You can actually see up if you look. You get a bit of water in it, like a glass of thing.
With all there?
Yeah. So that's nicely sealed up now. This is going to push on to the plate. So I'm going to put a bit of fire cement on the inside. Now, just wetting it slightly. What it says to do on the instructions. I might try a little bit on the liner itself, but I'm not sure how that'll work on it. going on quite well. So I'm not putting it on very thick because they're very tight fit anyway, but once it all pushes on it should all nicely seal up and sort of fill any gaps in that are there. Make sure it's right the way around. On this one, because it's a long flue pipe and I can't get my hand up it, the closure plate has got a little plate that comes off, so I will take that down and reseal it in a minute anyway. It's just a sort of a belt and braces type of thing, so I'm just going to wash my hands. Oh, actually I want to put some inside here as well. And again, I will do this once it's in place, because I can literally reach through here to get it. I can reach through the stove to get it to here, so this bit's quite good anyway. Making sure it's an even thickness all the way around. It does say in the instructions for this fire cement, by the way, you can apply by hand, so it's not poisonous or anything. Fairly pleased with that, trying to rinse my hands. So, just getting that into the collar. Like I say, I will be able to reach that sort of once it's in the fire. I just wanted to try and get a seal all the way along, and I'll seal it from the top as well once it's on the fire. Just going to slightly bring down on that in a couple of minutes. Fairly alright actually. Give it a nice swirling action as I'm going up, just to sort of drive it on all the way. I'm going to get this Slimline here. Right, so I'm just getting it roughly in the position back to forward at the minute. It's a bit further forward than it was. So I'm just, I've got it sort of somewhere near, just don't want to forget my gasket, so I'm going to slide that on underneath now. Can you push it, Alicia?
Push the gas down.
So just another bit of an update. So we've gotten out of the position basically where the stove's in. So I'll take you over, give you a couple of close-up shots of what I've done so far. So fire cemented round the closure plate, around all the edges, round the opening itself. Right round then. It is fire cemented around the front as well. That's a bit difficult to see. You've got the flue pipe coming down to the stove. The collar, it's got the gasket in, it's bolted on. It's fire cemented around the top. I don't know if we can see inside or not, but it's sort of fire cemented in the flue there. All nicely smoothed off. I'll give you a quick sort of rub over with a damp cloth, but it does need cleaning properly. You can see it's just muck that should rub off, hopefully. Just dust and muck, so that'll all clean off. But it's looking nice, really. Quite pleased with it. So what I'm going to do with this one now is I'm going to put the throat plate in, put the griddles back on, and basically just leave it a couple of days, let all the fire, give it a clean, and then just leave it a couple of days, let all the fire cement set, all that type of thing. Sure, like I was explaining earlier on, when I've put the flue pipe on, I've put dampened fire cement on either end of the flue pipe, I've pushed it onto the adapter from the flexible liner, I've put it into the collar, it just sits in the collar really, with flue cemented round, but I've put a self-tap and screw through the enamel pipe into the Flueliner. That self-tap and screw I've managed to get just above the register plate on this one, so it's nicely out the way as well. So like I say, really just a couple of days to set. It's all nicely levelled, so leave it over there. It's Sunday today, so maybe Tuesday have a small fire in it, or sometime after then anyway. This is the room we're not using at the minute, but after that point we'll be able to have a small fire and then just go from there really. I will nip back on the roof at some point as well and just double check nothing's happened with the chimney pots. and also giving it a bit extra time because that cement was a nice wet mix when I originally put it on, so I wanted to leave it at least a couple of weeks to let that all set as well before we had any significant heat going through it. So but it's looking good. I'll come back to it in a few days. So there we are. I've put the handles on. Zoom in a little bit. So they're the nice brass handles we got with it. I'll give you a final close-up look. So there we are, like I say, flue pipe in, it's all fire cemented above. The griddle plate, it's a little bit of a funny thing to put in. You basically just slide each piece in. There's two separate pieces and it sort of alternates. It's sort of self-explanatory once you figure out the two different bits. And then there's the mechanism on the side which sort of makes it through depending on what you're burning. That's controlled by that lever on the side that you use that tool with there. So what I'll do is I'll do a proper sort of review of how the fire works once we're in a position to use it. We'll go through all the sort of controls and what all the sort of different things do and what have you. For now, like I say, we'll just give it a clean and just leave it a couple of days for the fire cement to set. Hiya, so this is the HunterHerald fire. This is the DEFRA approved version. It's a HunterHerald 5 Slimline. What I'm doing tonight is, it's been through the installation and commissioning, so I'm just going to have a small fire tonight with wood, just to sort of get it bedded in, and then I'll probably have another small one tomorrow with coal, just to see how that goes. So you can see there's got the primary air sliders on the front there. I'm going to have both of them open. The griddle, or ash pan or whatever you want to call it, what's got the fire on, I've got the lever right upwards which closes it, and this primary one at the top is closed. Although it is a bit hard to tell like whether it's fully open or closed. Yeah, sorry. So it's now open. So I've got the one at the top fully open and the two ones on the front fully open. I light the fire, so I've got a bit of kindling in there, my fire lighters and a heat log. Just like I say, this is basically just to get it all bedded in. We're not really using this room at the minute, so I'm literally going to light a fire just to let it burn for however long, and then let it go out again. So it's really just to see how the fire goes rather than having a nice fire. So the fire lighters are lit there, just making sure they're tough. Fire lighters are lit, the two air sources are fully open. Shut the door. Actually kicks into life a bit more once you shut the door, so it must be how it channels the air through. So what I'll do is I'll come back in 20 minutes or so and see how it's going, and I'll update you then. So it's only about, what, 10 minutes maybe since I've originally lit this one. I've been in the front room and I've been doing some stuff in there. You can see it's like burning like a train there. So I'm going to knock the air down a bit and just see what happens. I'll keep an eye on it. I've fully shut the primary air and I've got the secondary air open. Like I say, if I was doing it a proper fire and I was using this room, I'd probably have a couple of them ecologs in. Which I got from a local company, Brix&stix. I've been quite impressed with the logs up to now, so I think they're based in Cockfield. So we'll just see how it goes, and like I say, I'll update you again in another 10 minutes, half an hour. So I've started to have a final update with me HunterHerald. So like I say, it's been lit maybe about half an hour now. My heat logs got well established. Like I said, I'm not firing it right up because one, it's the first time it's being used, so I just want to gently break everything in, and two, it's a room we're not using, so literally just having a fire in it to let all the cement and stuff cure. The flue is too hot to touch there, so you know it's got plenty of heat in it. But I just thought it'd be nice just to see how it goes, type of thing. But I'm really pleased with it. It's an excellent fire. I'd highly recommend it. We've got another fire in the front room, and although again that is an excellent fire, aesthetically this is the better fire by no doubt. It's probably got better features with the grate as well and stuff, but you know it was near enough, not quite, but near enough double the price. So I mean you probably are going to get what you pay for. But the fire itself, like I say, it's a good solid build. I've registered the warranty. I had an email back from them today saying that they'd received that and everything, so that's quite nice. I haven't had an email back off the other company yet. It's, like I say, it's a good solid build. It looks like it's made to last. And I suppose time will tell if there's any significant developments over the next months or whatever. I'll update the video, but hopefully it'll just be a nice fire. Like I say, unfortunately, probably not going to start using this room properly till next year. You know, we'll get further on with the decorating. So it's probably not going to get a lot of use at the minute. But as we start doing work in the front room, we might move into this room temporarily. So probably will change between the two a lot. But like I say, it's got the two primary vents on the front. It's got the secondary sort of air wash on the top. These brass handles and knobs, they were an extra, so it come with the black ones, but we ordered them separately from Hunter again, just because of the colour theme we're going with in the room. But like I say, excellent fire, highly recommend it. Like I say, we'll see how it goes, test of time, but well pleased with it, yeah. Bit of a close up for you.